What if you were to listen to an internationally acclaimed, multi-award-winning illusionist, and he had something far more to say than, "Watch this trick"? Rick Thomas is that performer, ready to go far beyond his magic and far beyond your imagination as he shares secrets regarding our dreams. Dreams that can become reality. The future belongs to those who believe in the strength of their dreams. Dreams pass into the reality of action. From the action stems the dream again. And this interdependence produces the highest form of living. Join Rick and his co-host, award-winning broadcaster Tammy Trujillo, for Nothing Happens Until You Dream. Indulge your mind and take a journey never to be forgotten. A journey connecting all of our dreams as we chase them together.
Rick, something I've always wanted to ask you. At the end of a show, how do you feel? Are you disappointed the show is over? Would you like it to go longer each night, or are you done?
I, at the end of the show, know why I perform. Before the show, I am petrified. Even to this day, I'm worried about an audience not liking me.
Still amazing.
I'm worried about the illusions not working. I worry about remembering my lines.
Oh,
and when the show has completed, the lights are turned off and the curtain closed, I take a deep breath after receiving the final applause and go, this is why I do this. I don't know. There's this amazing accomplishment. Every single time I finish the show, like, wow, I can't believe we got through this.
Pulled off another one.
We pulled off another. We fooled people. We fooled people again. Oh my goodness. But I really am always wondering why I have done what I do, because before I present, I'm miserable. I put myself on a pedestal. I mean, there's certain things I need to accomplish, certain things I need to do, and I push myself. So the frustrations are there, and I'm often and have been frightened often. Am I going to pull this off? Is it going to work? But I don't quit. I keep pushing forward. And every time I have a new show and a presentation, I have to look forward to it. I'm a procrastinator as well. I might as well, during this amazing final podcast for the Tiger Whisker.
It is.
That people realize that I've always struggled putting things off, because the moment that I know I start working on a project, I can't stop.
Yeah, that feeling.
So often a lot of things don't happen because I just don't want to start, because when I do, I've committed myself to it and I don't quit. That's a great thing for those things I need to accomplish, but also many things that I should be doing that I haven't, just because I know that I won't quit.
It makes total sense. I'm the same way. I have a board here in the studio and it lists projects. And there are projects that have been up there for 3 and 4 years because of the same thing. I don't know that they'll work. And I know once I start, I'm not going to stop. And I just can't get into it. I can't.
My dream was to write this book.
You did it.
And for years, I put it off. And
really?
I now say it was probably the positive way to do this, because I wouldn't have had enough stories. I wouldn't have had enough life.
That's true.
To put into the book that are now there. And you read the book, you understand. Those that have listened to it, there is a lot of in-depth history and story to my life that in my 20s, when I thought I knew everything, realized now I knew nothing.
Very true. None of us did.
I knew nothing.
We thought we
knew. But anyway, it was my dream to make the book, and I've written it. It's about my dreams, my new dreams, my old dreams, big dreams, small dreams. It's everything that made Rick Thomas who he is. I literally, when I stand out on the edge of the stage at the very end of my show, and I say, everybody is important. Everyone has a life. Everyone has a story to tell. And you need to realize that your dreams are important because they make you who you are. You need dreams, and you need to follow those dreams, or you're nothing. You've got to get out there and you've got to be a better you tomorrow. So when I lean over to the audience and I literally step forward right off the edge of the stage and I said, you don't also follow your dreams just for yourself. You follow your dreams for the rest of our future. you affect everybody around you. And it is so important that you bring something to this world we live in. Some people don't know what they're going to leave behind or what they're going to do to make our world better, but we all do in some way or form do something grand for somebody else. That's what the Tiger Whisker is all about.
Well, we've talked about what a comment can mean. Just a simple comment, offhanded, maybe mean, maybe wonderful, maybe complimentary, but just an offhanded comment that you make and you never think about it again. What kind of a domino effect that can have in somebody else's life. So people who think maybe on their last day here on earth that they didn't have an impact, they didn't make a difference, their life did not matter, it just happened, they have no idea what they could have caused. They could have made happen. They could have changed with a comment that they don't even remember making. But they don't know.
It's so hard. It's so hard to fathom. Even myself, I will sit here for days wondering what to do with my life.
Oh, hello. Yes. And let me just jump in real soon. If you haven't figured it out, everyone listening, this is the finale of the book. That we're talking about today.
And at the moment, it's such a downer.
Well, no, I don't think it is. I don't. I really don't. I don't. Because we should contemplate. We should contemplate once in a while and assess and think maybe what we could do better or what else do we want to do and decide, okay, charging in there. I've done that before. There have been projects on that board, a different board, in past that have sat there and just nagged me. And a couple of them I've just said, all right, do or die. I'm going for it. And I kind of wanted to kick myself in the head a short time later because they worked. They were amazing. They worked. They were wonderful. And then you say, why didn't I do this sooner? What was I waiting for?
Right.
So, no. I don't think
it didn't just change you. It changed lives.
Yeah.
In some way or form, it touched other people.
Absolutely.
I learned long ago that magic, I really try to push magic to the side when I present my show. I want a relationship with the audience beyond the magic, but it does have the power to touch people's lives. It inspires them. They watch the world of magic and they're like, how do you do that? How could he do something so amazing? It is a world of fantasy, and it gives people the opportunity to consider that they can do amazing things as well. Well, if he can do this, then the dreams that I have, for sure, I can pull that off as well.
Anything is possible. Yeah. You
But
prove it
magic
every
is-
night.
I had a gentleman, he came up to me at the end of the show, even this 2 or 3 days ago, and he goes, I am an engineer. I build buildings. I build bridges. He says, I don't get this. He said, this messed with my head. I have no idea.
Perfect.
And I would agree with him. I said, magicians, we think quite differently in building something and creating something, which is an optical illusion, rather than building straightforward a building or a bridge. And he just couldn't wrap his head around it. He's like, I don't get
No, because
this.
he's very scientific. A and B equals C.
A and B equals Z.
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I've learned a lot doing this podcast. I've learned a lot about magic. I've learned a lot about elements that go into it that I never really even considered, with lighting and things along those. I never really thought about that. And I when I watch a show, I know a little about magic. I know enough to be dangerous, I think. But I'm essentially like everybody else in the audience. We have no freaking clue how you do any of this. And
well, let me tell you this. This next season, I'm on tour. I am going to England to perform for about 3,000 or 4,000 magicians.
So cool. Oh, boy. There's the challenge, isn't it?
Well, they're challenged because many of them, even though I'm going to present, they know.
Yeah.
They know the concept behind what I'm going to present. You might catch them off guard, but it takes them a second to go, okay, I get it. But what I love about magic, there are a couple pieces in the show that I will present. And what's fascinating to me is how deceptive we can be with the words that we share with the public. There's this thing out there right now where the people are talking about, how do you be the center of attention in the room?
Okay.
And it's the way that you speak to people. It's the verbiage that you use that creates intrigue about you without saying who you are. So what I'm trying to say as far as magic, there are a couple things that I'll be presenting to these magicians, and I'm going to stand up in front of them and tell them, I'm going to share with you with my story. I'm going to share with you how I came up with this and why I say what I say. But it's fascinating because the words I say to an audience are not exactly what takes place on the stage. But because I verbally am telling them what they're seeing, they believe me. Listening to someone, and as they share with you a story, it can be believable. And that's why in the world of magic, we can be extremely deceptive. Because sometimes we can say things that are blatantly not happening, and you're going to believe it because I told you to believe it.
Right.
That's what's fascinating, how amazing the language is. And in magic, that's a few of those pieces, other than it being visual. When I say something to the audience, you can almost like nod your head, and then they start nodding their head as well. And you are flat out sending them in the opposite direction. And they're like, yeah, I believe that. And you almost have to laugh because it is fascinating to see how you can manipulate.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Conversation.
That's a technique of negotiation.
Yes, it is.
Yes, when I used to teach business practices in broadcasting, it was really just like that. It's like, okay, how can I get somebody to agree to what I want them to agree to? How can I set it up so that they want to do what I want them to do? And it's tricky, but it is awfully much fun when it works, even in a boring situation like a negotiation. I can only imagine. But, part of magic, I know for a fact, is trying to get people to look where you want them to look, not where they would normally look.
Right.
And I'll tell you, again, knowing that and sitting in the audience in your show and some other great magicians as well, I know where they want me to look because I know what they're doing. And I'm so many times been, okay, I am going to look where the heck I want to look, which is probably exactly where you don't want me to look. Okay. And at the last second, by gosh, I look where they want me to look. And it's like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stop.
Also in the world of magic, and I think that's with everything important in life, we live one step ahead of you. Mm-hmm. So everything that I'm sharing with you in magic, at some point, it's happening a step before we get there.
That is so fascinating.
Okay, so if something's going to disappear or vanish, you hold everybody's attention till the last second, but it's already gone.
That's amazing.
And that's where the entertainment value comes in, and then you make it really vanish. And they're like, what the, how the... because you've deceived them in that way. And I know it's really hard to wrap your head around it, but you know what? That's the same in business. Don't go into a business not thinking ahead of the game. Right. You don't think, okay, if this happens, what am I going to do next? I have no idea. You need to really look ahead and plan your life, your business, whatever's going on, and be one step ahead. Or you're going to fail. Oh, totally. You got to know how to advertise, and if that advertisement doesn't work, then how to advertise a different way. It is so frustrating in this world. We have so many different ways to promote ourselves. We have social media. I'm going to tell you this that's fascinating, and I shared this on the air because I now am on my 100.1 here in Branson, Missouri, on the radio.
You are.
And this last week I spoke about modern technology and social media. And there are people, not just a few, many who are worried that we often consume media that is a waste of our time.
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Meaning we are on our smartphones, on the internet, on TikTok, on whatever it may be. We're on there too long because we're filling our minds with information that is absolutely wasting our time and our lives. I can tell you this, it's flat out. It's very important to embrace the technologies that we have. There's some great things out there that make us and our world around us, just even the internet, it made us all connected. In the 1980s, we were only connected because he said, she said.
Oh, right.
Somebody said something, somebody else said something else. And by the time it got to you, who knows what it meant.
Whole game of
telephone. Now, we are completely connected with everyone instantly in so many ways. But there's so much information out there that often there is a certain amount, a percentage of our lives that it becomes just too much. And why I say that is this is fascinating. Gen Z, they took a study, and I know it's just a study, but sometimes I say that's actually pretty positive. And they're saying that 50% of the Gen Zers are saying that they wish that social media was never invented.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Now, the other 50% are absolutely without doubt embracing it, heart and soul. But what I'm saying is I think that people are starting to realize that it is taking over their lives. And it's not all positive.
No, because there's that, what they call FOMO, fear of missing out, FOMO, fear of missing out. And it causes people to check their social media nonstop.
Constant.
All the time. Yeah. Because they're afraid of missing out. They even check it at night. They wake up and they check it, which is unhealthy because, you've kind of changed your brain there. You're supposed to roll over and go back to sleep when you wake up. You're not supposed to get blue light and all that crazy stuff that we talk about. But it's fear of missing out. One thing that amazes me, because I'm on my phone all day long, emails, texts, what have you, and yes, social media, is you get that weekly screen time report. And it blows my mind because it generally will say, your screen time went up, your screen time went down, and it's generally in the 6 hours a day. And I'm like, what? I don't even get it. It's not like 6 hours straight, but cumulative over the day, my screen time averages 6 hours a day. I don't know where those 6 hours are.
I know.
I don't know what the heck I did, but it mounts up that fast. So we are on our phones and we are doing that so much. But I understand why Gen Zs might really be saying.
They're starting to see the writing on the wall.
Yes.
They're starting to realize that their lives are just being controlled. Just, stop and smell the roses is coming back. It's right on.
Everything's virtual for them. And I think they're finally realizing that, you can see a virtual tree and it's still a real pretty tree. But a real tree is probably a lot prettier.
That's right.
I think it's finally clicking. Thank gosh.
Yeah. That was a whole conversation we had with our podcast was our mental state of mind and how our conscience and subconscious actually work.
Oh, yeah.
And when you think of something in your mind, your internal mind can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy.
Right.
And for that reason, it believes whatever you want to think is in your head is the real deal.
Yeah.
And it can be for positive, and it can definitely be for negative as well. So you are what you think. You are who you hang around with. And of course you are with what you deal with on social media.
Yeah.
It changes you.
It
now,
does.
I share this with you because my magic has given me an amazing life. I am thrilled with my profession, what I chose to do in my life. My mother to this day still says, what are you going to do when you grow up? I do not know, but this is my real job. I've been professional in the world of magic for 45 years.
That's amazing.
I'm a little older than that. But people say to me often, when did you start to become a magician?
At birth with you, I think.
I am a magician.
Yeah.
I am an illusionist. It is what I do. I believe that there are very few of us out there that actually do real magic, and I'm one of them. So this is not a dark thing. I'm not talking about black magic. I'm talking about purely entertaining and magic being my vehicle in my life. It is who I am, and I love it. It's given me everything. And as we come to the finale, and we're not going to do it yet, we're just chatting here, but I'm going to ask that I read the last two paragraphs of my book rather than try to paraphrase, because I think that as I share it with you, it is a better way to end than me just trying to try to come to a close and it doesn't quite make it.
Yeah,
I took a lot of time writing the book and the words in it. And there are many times during the podcast, I don't think I got it right. I try desperately.
I think you've always gotten it close because again, I've read the book. I've read the book 3 times now. And I always have it right in front of me on the computer. And so I'm kind of following along the chapters. And I don't think you've ever gotten it wrong. I think you have embellished. I don't mean embellished in the way of just adding stuff. I think you've given more detail, more life to some of the stories. And I think that is a positive. And that's one reason, that's one of the things I wanted with this podcast. The book has a lot of chapters. Some of them are extraordinarily short. And a number of times it was like, I want more. I want to know more. I know there is more. I want to have it. And you've done it. You've accomplished that. You gave me more story or backstory to the stories that you told in the book. So I don't think you got it wrong. I think you just told it in a different way. I've been very cognizant of that.
I appreciate it. I just want people to know that we're in this together. We're all in the same boat. We all have challenges we've got to try to overcome.
Yes.
And we can't do this alone. We really need to do this together. We need to chase our dreams together. And it is a frustration. No one is an island. Everything that you do touches somebody else in some way or form. I have things in my head that I know I have said to people throughout my life who I wish I could go back and fix.
Hello.
I just know. And there's tons of them, but there's a few of them that just ache in my mind. Yeah, so
there are.
Life, it's the same for all of us. We all have challenges. You got to be kind to everybody. Everybody's going through so many things. And as far as finding your space, finding who you are, one of the downfalls when we're talking about social media is comparing yourself to other people.
Yes.
And seeing what they have or coveting what they have or wishing for something, and everybody's always putting their best foot forward and they're saying, look at me.
Yeah.
Look at what I'm,
All you see is positive. You see like everybody else's life is all positive. It's fun. It's glorious. And you have to grasp that. And maybe that's what's really happening with the Gen Zers. They're grasping that people are only putting up the highlight reel.
Yeah.
Not the day to day. And once you realize that, now you put it in perspective and it isn't so impactful.
And there's depression. I have it as well. I often look at competition in my world and I look at it too much. I often look at critics in my world and I look at it too much. And I let other people dictate my success or my failures because they are just too much into my face. And I'm worried so much about others that I can't worry enough about myself. Now, often, and I'm going to make this a big point, and I want people to remember when I have a little girl standing there on stage after I've taught her how to make something float into the air, I give her a little pin in the show, and the pin says dream. And the verbiage I say to her is, don't you ever do anything but follow your dreams. Don't you dare. And I would say it, and I'm going to say it, the difference between men and women. I'm a man and I know I'm saying it to this little girl, but I often feel like everybody has frustrations. And even as men, we feel often that we're given the short end of the straw, whether it be somebody else stronger than us, better than us, or whatever. But I know between men and women, sometimes even the girls can get frustrated. They're like, this is a man's world, blah, blah, blah. And I almost do it just to try to point out that I understand that everybody is very different. But when I say to that little girl, don't you do anything but follow your own dreams, I know I'm saying it to a little girl, but there are so many of us who are trying to impress others in some way or form where our own dreams aren't happening. And if you're not going to follow your dreams, you're going to be hired by somebody else to help them follow theirs.
Right. Well, that pin that you gave me, I have that pin. Do you know where it is?
Nope.
You would never guess where it is.
Is it on one of your dolls?
No. No. Okay. We talked about this once during one of the episodes. of what we have hanging from our rear view mirrors in the car.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I told you, yes, I do. In every single one of my vehicles, I admit it, I have fuzzy dice.
You do? Are you kidding me? There you have fuzzy dice?
I do. And they match the car. They're very well coordinated. I work very hard to find the right ones.
That's flippant. That's pretty funny.
I have had them since high school, Rick. I just can't I can't stand not to have them. But in the car I drive most often, that's where the pin is. It is on the fuzzy dice.
It's on the dice and it says dream.
So I see it.
I scream this to the world. I screamed it to you. I scream it to everyone. Follow your dreams. Do not follow other people's dreams. When people come to my show, dancers who are involved in the show, it may be part of their life, but I've told them over and over again, these are my dreams. This is what Rick Thomas wanted in his life. If it's part of yours, awesome. Make it part of yours. There comes a time in your life where you figure yourself out. You get comfortable in your own skin and you start realizing who you are and what you want to become. You go for it. Now, I will plead with you, please don't burn bridges. It happens. I understand. We all get in each other's way and we can be ruthless with each other. But I plead with you in some way or form, try not to hurt other people when you're trying to follow your dreams. We always say don't burn bridges because as you rise to the top, the same people are going to be there when you go down to the bottom.
That's very true.
What it is, we all know that. We've heard that before, but it is the truth as well. Don't destroy other people's dreams for years to come true. I always believe that everybody has the right to dream. Everybody has the right to follow those dreams. But often I see people in even my world who will do everything they can to hurt other people for their dreams to come true. I don't understand it. There's plenty of dreams to go out there. There's plenty of success in this world for all of us to enjoy. But when you see people trying to thwart others and squash them for their own purpose, please try and not make that part of your life. I plead with you to join forces with others. If you find somebody who is great at what they're doing, don't compete with them, embrace them.
Team up, share. So, teamwork. Sometimes you can find somebody who has the key to making yours work and you combine and now you've got something. Yeah.
And I'm not saying things that are easy. This is not easy to do. No. Everybody has their ego.
Oh, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yep.
As I do as well.
Oh, I do.
This is, I don't know how the finale is going to everybody listening to this, but it's just an accumulation of just a whole bunch of different thoughts flying through my head. And when COVID hit and the pandemic and me being an illusionist, I had such I don't know if you want to say the ego or pride that I told myself I have a Class A license so I can drive trucks. And I have no problem getting in a truck and driving a truck and doing what I need to do to take care of my family. But even then, when my magic was actually taken away from me and I realized that the world didn't center around Rick Thomas and his show and we weren't working, I was very, very close to just simply getting a job that is needed for the world around me and do what I needed to survive. But there was also part of me saying in my head, oh, but you're a magician. That's what you do. And my ego got the better of me by not being willing to do anything that I needed to continue to survive life. And that was a struggle in my head. Would I have gotten in the trucks? Would I have done something beyond my magic? Absolutely. Luckily, the shows turned around and we were able to get back on our feet without too much of a loss. But we all struggled. And you have to come to a point where no matter who you are and what you do, there are times that you need to sacrifice and do something to take care of yourself. So while you're following your dreams, while you're trying to do something grand for your life and those around you, remember that you still have responsibilities. You have responsibilities to those individuals and to yourself. And if you have to do something else while you're following your dreams, do that as well. And I say that to Rick Thomas as well. That is a statement for me saying, no matter what it takes, we got to get through life. And it's not just one big magical happy story.
No, it's not. But it's it is what you make it. It so much is, and you've got to get out there and try. You have to. I watched my mom my whole life. My mom was artistic, and she actually went to art school, and she actually worked for Milton Bradley, and some of the designs of boxes for games were designed by my mom. And I remember, they were still in the stories even when I was a little girl. My mom would say, that one I designed, that one I designed. But my mom had walked away from that to get married and have kids, and she didn't go back to it. I don't know why. From what I could gather, she felt it had gone on without her. Styles had changed. Thoughts had changed. And so she went into medicine. She became a nurse, and then she became a dental assistant. And
wow.
Yeah. And
that's a big deal to me. Nursing, I get kudos to people who, why? I have people say, I'm going to be a nurse. Wow. The lives that you have to be around constantly, taking care of ill individuals, challenges that people face.
Yeah.
It
was tough.
Oh, I applaud people for some of these jobs that they do, because you would think, maybe, I don't know what people think nursing is.
It's hard. I know that. I have friends who are nurses. Thing with my mom, she was very good at it. However, she shouldn't have been there. She took it in desperation.
Yes.
She took it as something she could complete with a very quick course and start earning money because she had to.
Right.
She had to. As a divorced woman with 2 teenage kids and then me, she had to. And I watched her not pursue her dream again of being artistic. I watched her whole life. I watched over 25 years of that. And I would bug her. I would say, she'd help me with art projects when I was a kid. And the things she could do, I was like, my gosh, this is amazing. I'd take them to school and I was like, wow, right? Because she was that good. And I'd say, Mom, why don't you go do art? Why don't you go do art? And she would literally just shut the conversation down. And she was really very, very unhappy because she had given up on her dream. And I don't know, would it have worked had she tried? I don't know. But it always just made me say, this isn't going to be me. I can't do this. I have to do what I want to do. I have to at least try.
At least try.
Because she wouldn't even try. And it just made me really sad. And I saw her become a not fun, nice person. And my mom was crazy. She was a blast.
Yeah.
But I saw her change over the years. So not following your dream, letting circumstance stop you. She had to earn a living, and I applaud her for that, with 3 kids. Not going after it in some way. I saw it just destroy
so you're
her.
basically saying that even if her dreams didn't come true, it would have been advantageous for her to continue to pursue things that made her happy.
In some way. Even if it was teaching painting at the park to seniors on Saturday mornings. Something that connected her to the thing that she really loved. But she didn't do it. She washed her hands of it. And I really saw it change her over the years, and it was very, very sad.
When you follow your dreams in your head, you can't expect it to happen the way you think it should.
Never does.
And that's why I say, I know that you have to survive. I know you need to do things like your mother did. But in the process, continuing to follow your dreams means you're continuing to do things that you love.
Yep.
That make you who you are. And even in the end, when you turn around and look back and say, that is not how my dreams were in my head. That is not how it was supposed to turn out. It doesn't matter. At least you were doing something that put you in that direction, that guided you to make you strive for something beyond. And you can say that she was extremely frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
And part of it was simply because she was taking care of others so much more than she was taking care of herself.
Yeah, exactly. With kids at home and the job, there was nothing left for her. And she used to dance and roller skate and just be a crazy, crazy person when my brother and sister were young. And all of that just stopped. And I saw it change her. And I really think it ruined the last 25 years of her life because she just let it all go. And if anything good came of it, it was me watching and saying, not going to be me.
And you know what? That's what I'm hoping people get out of this. I am going to share the final 2 paragraphs of the book, but I'm going to also share with you my son, Preston, at the moment, he's only 7 years old. But one of the joys that his mother has demanded that he do every day before I take him to school is we walk outside the house and he looks out into the sky and he says, "What a beautiful day." And that's what she makes it do.
It's
What a
marvelous.
beautiful day. And then we get in the car and then he goes to school. He hates school. No, he doesn't. He loves school. But I think it's adorable. And even at 7 years old, those are the things that we need to do in life. You go out there. You know, the greatest thing in life when you wake up is that you woke up because
Indeed.
others didn't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very
So
true.
you get out there, you walk out there, you stand out there and you look out into the sky and say, "What a beautiful day."
Mhm.
And you make whatever you can of it. The past is the past. I plead with you, don't dwell on it. I do. I'm telling you things that we all have challenges with,
No
but you've
kidding.
got to let things go. You got to move forward.
Yep.
and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
Yep.
ride, because there is nothing else that we have other than just, and that's why I say you're going to look back on life and realize, I should have done this. I should have done this. I should have done this.
There's that clock.
So
clock
that
is
being
there.
the case,
Yes, indeed. And I do want to say, before this episode ends, I've learned a lot about Tara, your wife, your gorgeous wife, during this. And you know what? I hope Tara listens, because Tara, you're amazing. You are brilliant. You are.
she is. And you know what? She doesn't think so.
Sure. Of course not. But she's right.
All right. All right. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
So those people who are driving your car, sitting in your backyard, having breakfast, whatever you're doing right now, and you're listening to this and going, yeah, I kind of feel the same way, because we all do.
Yep.
And
Indeed.
Tara is amazing. She just doesn't, people just, you don't see it. And I'm going to tell you as well, I believe you're as amazing at also. Everybody out there, you do have stories to share with the world. And this is how it goes. Whatever
Indeed.
you do, and however much of it you do, your job is also to inspire, to motivate, to touch, and create the sense of fantasy that exists in your audience. It may not seem like it while you're working a 9-to-5 job, whether you're a policeman, an engineer, or work at a cash register. Nearly all of us encounter people on a daily basis, and it's important that we all leave the world a better place. The only way to do that is to be a positive force of nature in other people's lives. Sometimes it's one-on-one, and other times it's in a group. Make no mistake, we all have the power to influence and inspire others. Let's make sure the influence is positive. Don't forget that everyone has a tiger whisker to offer. Once you realize that you have had people behind you, people who actually love you and they care about you, you have people who want you to succeed more than anything, you'll be able to cast out those butterflies in your stomach, get on with your performance. And the best way to do it is to get out onto that stage, turn on the lights, let the music begin, and start your performance. And then look out at all the people sitting in your audience who are honestly in the same situation you are and experiencing many of the same things. They're also trying to make their life a little better. I believe the best way to enjoy life's journey is by connecting all of our dreams and chasing them together.
You did.
Nothing happens until you dream.
Rick, that's beautiful. It's the title of the podcast. That's why when we were putting the podcast together, I said, this has to be the title. You end the finale with this incredibly fantastic picture of yourself. You're on the stairs of the mansion. You're dressed in that great Victorian costume that you wear at that point in the show. And you add something.
This is why I wrote the book.
Yeah.
My dreams have come true. They become a reality. And now it's your turn. Follow your dreams. I'm sorry to break apart at the end, but life is tough. But you know what? I've looked back on my life. My dreams have become a reality. And I'm so frustrated with people saying they can't do it. It is your turn. Make it happen and enjoy your life. And I say it over and over again. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the ride. We're in this together.
Thanks for joining us this week on Nothing Happens Until You Dream, starring Rick Thomas and featuring Tammy Trujillo, and is based on Rick Thomas's best-selling book, The Tiger Whisker, available on rickthomas.com. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'd love for you to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. And check us out on Patreon for exclusive members-only content. Stay up to date with Rick and Tammy at nothinghappensUntilYouDream.com. Remember, you must follow your dreams, not only for yourself, but for the rest of our future.